The NBA championship trophy is back where it belongs, in the city of Los Angeles, to the purple and gold. LeBron James has won Finals MVP, and Anthony Davis has won his first championship. The series started off by looking like the Lakers were going to be mainly on top, with the dominant win in Game 1 and Game 2. In Game 3, Jimmy Butler, after playing pretty well in Game 2, took over this team after Goran Dragic and Bam Adebayo both suffered injuries, and took the Heat to a win in Game 3. After that, the Lakers pulled out a nail-biter in Game 4. Also, another amazing performance by Jimmy Butler, who single-handedly kept his team alive. In Game 5 after that, the Heat, with Bam Adebayo back, took another win in the series, obviously, which was difficult for a lot of Lakers fans. There were some decisions at the end of the game that led to their loss, such as Danny Green missing the three and Markieff Morris throwing it out of bounds. Obviously, them not winning put something inside of them. LeBron set the tone early. Alex Caruso set the tone early. Almost every player on the team did not give up a single effort until the final whistle. Their defense from the start of the game to the end of the game was spectacular. While Jimmy Butler was gassed after, taking this Heat team through the mud, the Lakers were able to pull it out though, and won 106-93, and are the new champions of the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Laker fan, it's been 10 years, and 10 years isn't really a long time, considering that other NBA teams haven't won in 100 years, but, 10 years is a long time for Laker fans, I wanted to touch on that point where, so in this last game, in Game 6, I think the main reason the Lakers won, it wasn't their defense was impeccable, but I think it was their role players stepping up. I think for the Lakers, it doesn't really matter if LeBron has a great game. Like we saw in Game 5, he had a 40-point, almost triple-double, and the Lakers still didn't win. And that was because the Lakers role players did not step up. Rondo only had about 2 points, I think. Caruso had the same. It wasn't a good performance from their role players. Danny Green as well. But in Game 6, what set them apart is Rondo, KCP, Caruso, even Danny Green. They all played incredibly well. And Rondo was the X factor in this game. He was great on defense. He was great on offense. He was creating opportunities for his teammates. He was finishing well at the rim. I mean, everything was going the Lakers' way. And for the Heat, they were just turning the ball over. They weren't playing good defense. They only had 36 points in the first half. So everything was going right for the Lakers, and everything was going wrong for the Heat. And that combination resulted in the Lakers having, at one point in the game, the Lakers had a 30-plus point lead. And it looked like the same thing that happened in Game 1. Game 1, this exact same thing happened. The Lakers came out roaring. Their defense was insane. So yeah, I think the X factor in this game was Rondo and the other role players. They really played a big part. I think the best role player was probably J.R. Smith. I mean, his celebrating from the bench was just amazing. I think he really carried the Lakers to victory in that Game 6 game. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would say so. I think one thing is Anthony Davis, I think he's leveled up. I think in these playoffs, I'd say he had a pretty solid argument for Finals MVP, but I think it was Game 3 that really knocked him out of contention. It dropped his points per game by a lot.
The reason why LeBron got Finals MVP instead of Anthony Davis, I think, is because LeBron was consistent throughout the entire playoffs. except for maybe 1 or 2 games. He was consistent. He was scoring 25 plus points in every single one of their games. He had a near triple-double in almost every other game. And AD, he played amazing in the playoffs, but there were some stretches where he would just not do well. For example, the Nuggets series, I think he had like 3 straight games where he had like 2 rebounds.
Yeah.
And then same thing in the Heat series, he didn't play well in Game 5 either, and you just can't take a game off if you want to win the Finals MVP. So it was really well deserved by LeBron.
Yeah, I think Anthony Davis, he definitely moved up in my player rankings. As you know, I'm an expert. I know so much about basketball. I have a basketball podcast, and my opinions mean the most.
Yeah.
So he moved up a lot this year, and he's shown that, like, even when LeBron struggles, then he'll be a consistent source of offense for the Lakers.
So let's talk about LeBron's legacy and how this ring impacts it. I know that some people would maybe put LeBron over Jordan, but most people are gonna keep Jordan in their top 1. But I think LeBron has really solidified himself into that Mount Rushmore for the all-time greats. This is LeBron's 4th ring and 4th Finals MVP. He's won 3 rings with 3 different teams. He's won one with the Cavs, 2 with the Heat, and 1 with the Lakers now. He's the first player in NBA history to win 3 Finals MVPs with 3 different teams. And I think that really means a lot in how when he goes to a team, the entire team is transformed into a championship winning team. If he went to the Hornets right now, they would be a championship contender.
I mean that's the East.
Yeah, but come on. Every single team he goes to, their entire team just improves dramatically because of the way he's able to share the ball. It's not just all about.
But he also needs players that are complementary to him. You can't have like a hodgepodge of dudes that you found on the street like it was last year.
Yeah, let's talk about the Lakers playoff run. Okay?
Yeah.
And we'll disprove some of the theories that people have been saying. So the first theory is that this was an easy run in the playoffs for the Lakers. What do you think about that?
I don't think that's true. I mean, most people who said that were Clippers fans or Celtics fans. I'm gonna take away my bias as a Lakers fan here. There's an argument to be made, sure, that this was easy because they didn't face like the greatest teams ever. But there were a lot more things that went into this than just the teams they faced. Like, most of these players were without their families. This is in a completely new environment. And they didn't have much time to rest between games either. They were playing games back to back to back. This was a struggle for a team like this. And let's not act like the Lakers were the biggest favorites going into these playoffs.
Yeah. Even going to the season, people had the Lakers 4th in the West. And even below that.
But I've seen a lot of talking heads saying that yes, this was completely expected. No, it wasn't. It's not what you said a year ago. I'm not saying this team is some complete underdog who disproved everybody's expectations, but they did pretty well for a team that doesn't have too many shooters. They found a way to make it work. Nobody thought that Rondo was going to have 19 points in Game 6. That's not what Rondo does. But like you said, Ennes, the role players showed up.
KCP, no one thought KCP. 2
years ago,
Caruso really elevated his game.
Yeah, Caruso's defense was spectacular on Hero today. He didn't let him go anywhere. KCP 2 years ago was getting DUIs on Detroit highways. Dwight Howard hit a 3 today, you know?
I also want to give props to the Lakers organization, their coaching staff, and also Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka last year, A lot of people didn't like what he was doing with the Lakers organization and the Lakers team. And this offseason, he brought in players that people thought weren't gonna do well, such as Dwight Howard. He brought in Rondo. They re-signed KCP, and all those players turned out to be spectacular. Dwight Howard, obviously, he did amazing in the regular season. In the playoffs, he didn't get much playing time, but he still did great. Rondo in the playoffs, he looked like Rondo with the Celtics. The people who say that this was an easy path to the finals, they're the same people who said the Blazers were going to beat the Lakers in round 1. And then they're the same people who said the Rockets are going to beat the Lakers in round 2. Same people who said the Nuggets are going to beat the Lakers. And then now the Heat. There were some people who said the Heat were going to beat the Lakers, especially after Game 5. And I think a big reason why people said this was because the Lakers and LeBron made it look easy. They beat every single team in 5 games except for the Heat, which they beat them in 6. But that wasn't supposed to happen. They weren't supposed to beat the Rockets in 5 games. It was supposed to go to 6 or 7 games. The Nuggets as well. It wasn't supposed to go to 5 games. I mean, they held each team to only 1 win.
Well, besides the Heat.
And they closed out each... Yeah, besides the Heat. The Heat won 2 games. But yeah, in the first round, the Blazers, they won Game 1. People thought they were going to beat the Lakers. And then the Lakers won the next 4 games. Same thing in round 2. The Rockets won Game 1. Then the Lakers win the next 4 games. And then in round 3, the Lakers win the first 2 games. The Nuggets win Game 3. And then now it's like, oh, wow. The Nuggets they might have a shot. Nope. The Lakers win the next 2 games and they advance to the NBA Finals. Now, this NBA Finals series was a little different because the Heat actually won 2 games. And the biggest thing with the Heat, there were 2 things that had to happen for them to win. One, Jimmy Butler had to have 35 points or more, and he had to have a triple double. And then the second thing is, some person, it doesn't matter who it is, it could be Bam, it could be Tyler Hero, it could be Duncan Robinson, but one of those people has to have at least 25 points or more. And if those 2 things happen, then it's like 80% Heat win. And obviously, Jimmy Butler's not going to be able to do that every single game. And I was actually surprised that he did that in Game 5. I didn't think he could pull off another 35-plus point triple-double. But he looked absolutely exhausted in Game 6. And he's been playing 42 minutes in the finals, which is 6 more minutes than he usually plays. And he usually plays 36 minutes in the playoffs.
I think they might need to retool a little bit. I know this is really random, but I think maybe switch Myers Leonard and Kelly Olynyk. That's just or trade Kelly Olynyk for maybe another small forward, because Jimmy Butler kind of runs point at time. I mean, obviously, I don't know how the system works over there. I'm just saying give Myers Leonard more minutes.
I'm saying give Kelly Olynyk more minutes.
Well, I'm gonna have to disagree with you, man.
And
I'm disagreeing with you, man.
Why are you disagreeing with me?
I think that Kelly Olynyk hasn't been good since 2018, and I think that Myers Leonard's a better 3-point shooter than him. And I also think, yes,
what?
Bro. Okay, we'll look at the numbers. That's it. Last time we did this, Ennes, you know what happened? You know what happened, Ennes?
What?
I schooled you on LeBron.
What?
The 3-point percentage this year was 41%.
Well, in his NBA career, it's 39%. So we'll just go off that.
Kelly Olynyk's
right?
last year was 35%.
I think that Myers Leonard's role is to be the hype man on the bench, just like
I
hype
think Kelly
everyone up.
Olynyk's role is to look like a gay man who snuck onto an NBA team.
A hippie. a hippie.
I think Kelly Olynyk's role on the Heat is to look like the hippie that wandered onto the team. That's just what I'm saying, man.
I think they should have put Kelly Olynyk in instead of Myers Leonard because I mean he might have a worse 3-point percentage than
Myers
Leonard,
Leonard grabs more rebounds
in the playoffs
for the minutes he gets than Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah, but in these playoffs, Kelly Olynyk has shot way better than Myers Leonard.
Because they gave him no, he didn't. Okay, you know what? We're doing this again. He shot 33%.
All right,
I'm right. I am right. Ennes is wrong.
Fine, Myers Leonard, whatever.
I am right.
But you think he should have been there instead of Bam?
When did I say that?
But like you said, they should play him.
Yeah, they should play him instead of Kelly Olynyk.
But Kelly Olynyk never plays.
Yep.
Except for when Bam
Kelly
died.
Olynyk averaged 15 minutes per game in the playoffs. We could go all day.
All right.